Hi, my name is Vince Ray. I'm with HBK, and today I'm going to talk about the BrolinCare 9640 Precision Turntable. I'm going to use the control panel of the controller and go through all the different modes. All right, buckle up. It's going to start in a few seconds. All right, so here we go. We have the turntable here, the 9640, and we have the controller type 5997. I'm gonna be quick here on how I set up the cabling and everything, but you need power for the turntable, you need power also for the controller, and between the turntable and the controller we have this cable here. Okay, so it's quite simple. All right, so I'm going to turn on the controller. There's a little button here in the back, and I'm going to turn on the motor. You can see the screen shows up here. And I've got a 0 degree act and 0 degree fin. So this is my current position on the angle position on the table. This is my target position on the table. So we'll keep that in mind. We'll have those two numbers we'll have to play with. All right, so that being said, let's enter the mode and the different ways to interact with a turntable. All right, so let's have a look on the mode here. There's a mode button, and there is different mode options we can use with the controller. The first one that shows up on the screen here is called Turn REL, and REL stands for relative. So this is a mode where you're going to specify an angle, and the turntable will increment based on that angle. So let's say if I take 10 degrees here, and I'm going to enter just to specify that I'm ready to go here. The turntable is not moving. You see the I'm at the current position 0 degree, and my target is 10 degrees. And you can see that on the turntable I'm really at the 0. I put it there so we have a reference here. So in order to start that thing, you just have to click start. And you know, it moved from 0 degree to 10 degrees. So it's a relative angle movement of 10 degrees here. Typically, you know, in that mode, you can just click start, and it moved again, moved again, moved again. All right, so you can just click start, and it will remember what you want to do, what mode you're in. And you know, that's quite simple. All right, so there's another mode called absolute. The absolute is it's not an increment. It's you can position the turntable in a given degree. So it could be 0 degree or 360 degrees. You know, and so for example, if I want to go back to my original 0 degree position, I incremented by 30 degrees here. So I'm going to say I want 0 degrees, so that's going to be enter. And I'm going to say start. Actually, I was at 40 degrees and it went back to 0. Let's verify that on the turntable. Yes, this is the case here. All right, perfect. So you can see the absolute mode is very convenient if you want to go, you know, and search for, let's say, position the table in a given angle. You know, it will do that, and there's no increment. So if I click start here, obviously, you know, I reach my target. I cannot move further than that. All right, there's another mode here called continuous mode. This is kind of the jog mode here. So what you can do here to specify a time in seconds per revolution. So here, you know, if I use the setup here, the turntable will rotate, fully rotate, so 360 degrees in a minute or 60 seconds. You can specify the time here. So it, you know, that's going to be fairly fast. That's the fastest speed velocity or speed we can have, 22.7 seconds per revolution. You can say enter, and turntable will move. Okay. just a given point here. You can stop at any time, and you can certainly tell the turntable to stop when a revolution is made. And in that you have a specific mode after the continuous mode called max 360 degrees. And you can select it on. So on means that it will stop at 360 degrees. Or if you say off, the turntable will rotate forever. Okay. All right. So I want to move back my turntable to the original reference position, 0 degrees. So the best way to do that is to use my absolute mode and specify 0 degree. Start. It will go fast. Bing. Now we're back to the 0 degree, as you can see. Another mode I briefly skipped here, and I will go back on it, which is the acceleration mode. Acceleration mode is basically an acceleration you can specify for doing all your rotations, and it's rated from 1 to 10. And right now the acceleration is set to 6. So it is recommended to have low acceleration for a heavy object, and you can go, use 10 or 9 for a light object. By the way, this turntable can carry up to 100 kilos and rotate 100 kilos devices, which is quite substantial. So I will get back on 6 here. I'll click enter, 6 is a good compromise for all the device I want to test myself here. All right, there's another thing we can do. Right now I'm out of a mode. You can see I'm in a mode. When I click stop, I'm out of a mode. When I'm out of a mode here, I can use the those keys here on top and specify the angle I want. And I can manually decide to pick up an angle, a given angle here. All right, so let's say I'm at 30 degrees here. Can see that, I'm 30 degrees apart here. And there's a last mode here, which is called set 0. So set 0 is you can reset the reference angle. So let's say instead of using this point as my 0 reference, now I can specify this one as my 0 reference. And so I just have to click enter here. So we're good. And now everything will be based on that given angle. So if I go back to my, let's say, relative or absolute mode, here we go. And if I specify minus, or if I go back to 350, the turntable will, I click enter here, click start. The turntable will move by 10 degrees in the clockwise direction. All right, so now, I can get out of the mode and basically reset my turntable at the angle I want. And I can go back to my mode here and set to 0. So now everything will be based on that. Okay. All right, I just rotated the controller, and now we're looking at the back of the controller. You can notice that we have a BNC connector here, which will output a voltage signal every time the turntable passes the 0 degree. All right, so let's say here's my 0 degree. In that case, you can get a signal back, voltage back to your analyzer. This is quite important, especially when you're using the continuous mode and you want to synchronize your analyzer, your recorder, with the turntable. This is the on-off switch for the controller. This is the power selector. So if you're in the US, make sure you're on the 115 volts. This is a connector here that is used with the remote control, which is delivered with the 9640, which is very convenient actually. This little remote control, you know, is used when you're in the manual mode. And, you know, you can imagine that the turntable may be in an anechoic chamber, and, you know, your controller may be in a close to your computer outside of the chamber. But there's a way you can rotate that turntable with that remote control inside the chamber and position it to the right angle, or the angle you want. Okay. A couple of the other things. We have this connector here, which is an IEEE 488, or also called GPIB. This is the connector that will help controlling the controller from a computer, sending, you know, GPIB command. The connector and the cable, GPIB to USB cable recommend, is a National Instrument cable. You can find that on their website. Finally, we have this power connector for the controller. I just want to notice that it's a 2-pin connector. There's no ground. Oh, and finally, also very important, is we have the connector and the cable that goes directly to the table. Now we're back on the table itself, and you can you remember that that's one of the first thing I did. There's an on-off switch for the motor here. We have a power connector to power the table itself. Please notice that it's a 3-pin connector. And we have this round-shaped connector, which is actually very interesting, as you can input a given power to that table, and there's a slip power mechanism, or slip, you know, design here, which output a voltage signal out of this connector here. And this connector is going to move with a turntable. Right? So if you want to power a device through that slip mechanism there, you can certainly do so. The maximum current you can push out through that connector is 100 milliamp. So don't expect to push more current than that. All right, I hope you appreciate the presentation. Next video is going to be about how to control the turntable with a PC using the NI Mac software and some homemade Visual Basic app. Thanks, bye.